Furic's actually going to go for it here, and he has made it 3-1 in the 90th minute, and that is going to settle the game. And it's a huge win over a huge Champions League team. But is that going to do anything for the league stage? How's it going, everyone? My name is Stu, and welcome to my FM24 save here with Deportivo La Coruña. Thank you for joining me in today's video, which is part number 44 of the save, where we're going to be going up against Inter Milan in our final league stage game of the Champions League, and also against Valencia in La Liga to end the transfer window. And if you're excited to see how we get on in today's video, do not forget, leave a big like on the video for me, and also don't forget to subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so. You'll put a big smile on his face right here. What's not to love? If you haven't watched the save up until this point, welcome. Put your feet up, have a lovely time. If you do want to go back and watch the rest of the save, look up there. There'll be a playlist up there with a link to the rest of the Deportivo La Coruña save, so you can see how we've got from the third tier of Spanish football to Champions League team that's starting to get in and around the point of challenging for the league. With that in mind, since you were last with us, so it's going rather well. Looking at this old schedule, the last time you were with us was the Sassuolo and Getafe games, I do believe. Or was it Atletico Madrid? It might have been Atletico Madrid. I can't remember which two we went with, actually. But either way, that was the period. Then we went into the break. We did have one cheeky friendly there, and then since then, everything's been great. We've actually won silverware. We won the Copa España. I don't know how. We got through on penalties against Real Madrid, and then we ended up beating Atletico Madrid as well. João Veloso with the goal that won us. Salvador also getting an important goal as well. So that's obviously really good. And also, really big news, we drew against Barcelona in the second to last league phase game of the Champions League. So with that point, 11 points, I don't think we would have still been guaranteed. So we are actually through to the playoffs now. So we've guaranteed playoffs. We were a bit worried about that after losing against Sassuolo. But we have guaranteed playoffs. A win today doesn't necessarily guarantee us getting into the full kind of proper knockout phase, but it would definitely help. But we are playing against Inter, who are also looking to do the same thing. Inter currently, as things stand, on 13 points. If we win today, we would go to 15 points. That looks like it would be enough to get us in there. It's not a guarantee, though, and obviously we still need to do it. But that's how things are looking there. Things are looking great. In terms of the actual league, things are looking swimmingly. We've currently got a 5-point lead, which is kind of ridiculous to me. We've also got the second best goal difference in the league. Our goals against... in fact, no, it's the best goal difference. What am I talking about? We've got the joint best goals scored, and we've got the best goals against, which is a real turnaround from where we were last season. If we look on here, you can see we're the best on both, technically, although we're joint best on goals scored, which is nuts. I mean, Carnesecchi definitely helps us with that, but the other player who definitely helps with that is Salvador. Top goal scorer in all competitions for us at the moment. He's also, I do believe, the top goal scorer in La Liga. 22 goals, yes, he is. He's also the best player. And Carnesecchi has the most clean sheets. Those two signings, I was very excited about Carnesecchi, and then when we got Salvador through the door, there's a reason I was excited about that as well, because I think if we'd have managed to get Esposito, he'd have done the same business, if not better, if not maybe slightly worse, but it still would have been as good. But those two signings have really been the game changers for us. The defence has really stepped up as well. Herculano's had a few off games recently, but he's been pretty solid, and we've rotated between him and Vandenberg and also a Coley. So I'm really happy with how things have gone with those guys, to be fair. Now, we have made some transfer business, actually. So, transfer business number one, Azon has gone. He's gone for £22.5 million. So we've actually made a profit on him. He's played half a season. He didn't score a single goal for us in the league. He was woeful. Quite frankly, he was woeful. I was so excited about him as well. But he's gone for Al Fayed in Saudi Arabia, £22.5 million. He's actually scored a couple of goals already. It is what it is. I was really excited to have him as backup, but it did not work out. So he's gone. And with that money, we're starting to reinvest it into the squad. Now, the transfers aren't appearing here because they haven't happened yet. They're future transfers. I don't know if there's a way for me to see it. There is, actually. So it's these two here. So we've got two wonder kids. This guy is unattached, but we can't actually have him until, I think it's October. Yeah, it's October, which is really frustrating. But he's here on trial with us. I put him in the under-19s in the hope he'll get some games. But we have signed him. Alejandro Sandoval, central midfielder, can be an attacking midfielder as well. I don't really know what we're going to do with him, but that was one that I just saw, and I thought, well, he's a wonder kid with potentially 4.5 stars of potential. We need to get him in because he's got talent. He's also got some decent mental attributes already. And at 17, he's only going to get better and better. So got him in. And we're also, next season, going to be getting this guy in as well. A potential 5-star wonder kid. Well, promising striker, actually, but he more or less is a wonder kid. He is Fernando Herrera, a striker. who can play on the wing as well. Uruguay, he's got 520 caps at 17 already. He'll be joining us when he's allowed to, when he's old enough to, basically. I just saw them and I just thought, we've got £22.5 million to spend. That's not really a lot if we don't want to use instalments, which I really wanted to try and avoid if possible. Although, ironically, I think I did use them on one of these guys. I think that guy actually, I don't think that $3 million was all up front. But the idea being, let's just bring in a few wonder kids and see how we go. We're scouting a few more as well. We've still got like a chunk of money left. I can't find any players out of contract to spend the wages on, and we always have issues with that with the wage cap. So let's just go out there and let's see what we can get. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. We are here for the game against Inter Milan to begin with. This is not as big as it was, but a win here, it doesn't, again, guarantee us getting through to the full knockout phase, but it definitely helps us out. So let's see whether we can do that. We are up against a big opposition. I think we've actually played against Inter in the past as well. Let me see how I would look at that. So I don't think it was last season. I think it was the season before when I think they absolutely battered us. Yeah, 3-0. They absolutely ripped us apart in the league phase, which was obviously very disappointing. I don't think we played against them the year before, because I don't think we were in the Champions League at that point. Well, I've gone on their screen to look at this. I don't really know. And I don't think we played them last season. I think I would have remembered the trauma. So let's see whether we can actually get past them and get revenge for that last loss that we had against them. So the 11 we're going with is Karnasec in goal, Martinez, Herculano, Akoli and Ilic in defence, Veloso and Bietic in the middle with Maria, Navarro and Hlojek supporting Salvador up front. I think, other than Furic being on the bench, and even then I'm not 100% sure about it, I think this is our strongest 11. Which, because of injuries to people like Hlojek and a little injury to Veloso, we've not been able to properly put out, and also bad form for Maria, but he has started to turn that around. It's not been very often we've been able to get what I would consider to be our strongest 11 out there. And again, Furic is probably the one on his day who I'd say should be in there, maybe for Maria. But also, Hlojek has been so good since coming back from his injury that we've noticed when he's not been in the team. So it is what it is. I've just remembered as well, there's actually a signing I've not shown you, which I'm going to try and remember to show you afterwards. You might have already seen it, and you might have completely noticed that I just completely ignored its existence. It's a backup striker, but he's got injured for a month straight away, so he's not actually available at the moment. So I will show you that once this game is finished. I've just remembered, I completely forgot to show you it. And it's a signing I was really excited about, only for the rest of the season on loan, but yeah, he got injured straight away. So I'll show you him, because you're not going to see him in this video. So I'll show you him after this game has finished. Right, Maria has managed to get through here. Pass from Martinez into Salvador, and Salvador makes it 1-0 early on. It might be offside, though. It could very well be offside. I'm going to apologise now as well. I'm a little bit snotty today. Not that you want to know that, but I'm a little bit snotty today. The other half's got a cold, and I think I've started to develop it as well. Lovely goal from us, though. Arnau Martinez gets it through to Maria. These two striking up a bit of a partnership into Salvador. And Maria and Salvador are really starting to work together as well. I'm starting to see those balls into the box a little bit more frequently. Maria is, I think, starting to get a bit more comfortable here at the team. At the club, not the team. He's really comfortable in the team as well, but he's starting to look a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more handy in there, and that is something I'm really happy to see. Martinez, by the way, starting to really rack up the yellow cards. He's got a suspension for the game against Atletico, so we do need to get Trillion in this game, regardless of the result, just because we need to get Martinez, not necessarily a bit of a rest, but we need to get Trilly a bit more game time because he hasn't been playing a lot recently. Since that goal, match momentum-wise, it's all Inter, as you probably would expect. We need to probably start pushing on them a little bit and starting to make them work a little bit harder because they're going to start doing things like that. The one thing we currently do is when, let me just show you one of the instructions. Currently in transition, we currently regroup. I have counter-pressed before. I am tempted to do that again because it has yielded us good results. And there have been a few instances recently where we've not been playing so well. I've done that. The Real Madrid game was one of them where we got to penalties where actually we looked a lot better doing it. I'm not going to do it just yet, but I'm just looking at this match momentum and how since the goal it's gone all their way, and I'm starting to think that maybe we need to push on a little bit. Again, this isn't as dramatic as it would have been had we lost against... I mean, had we lost against Barcelona, it probably still would have been okay. But we really thought after the Sassuolo game that it was going to be a tight one to get through to even the playoffs of the Champions League. We thought we might be going out at the league phase. the pressure's off, but it would be nice to have the pressure off because it'd be 2 less games for us. And with us doing so well in the league, those 2 less games, it just gives us a bit of a break. And it would be really helpful to get. I mean, Inter Milan have some nice passing here, but they are just passing around in their own area. Skip, playing in the defence, I think, or it looks like he is. I mean, they're probably playing similar to how we have Bietic. Really good interception there. Salvador going for the long shot, and it just goes past the post. There we go. When we intercept, we do well. Do you know what? I'm going to make the decision now. We're just going to do it. Let's start counter-pressing them. Let's try and just put them under a bit more pressure when they have the ball. Because we're letting them have it all their own way at the moment, and that's fine if they're not going to do anything with it. Salvador with a deep free kick here. Looking for the head of Hlojek. Doesn't find him. But it might be a penalty. We might have a handball from Fratesi here. I'm assuming it's going to be looked at by VAR. It is being looked at by VAR. And it's been given as a penalty. They've been all over us since we've scored. And we've got the chance for 2-0 here. Miranda's not on the pitch, neither is Furic. I'm going to assume it's Salvador who's going to take. It is Salvador who's going to take. And Salvador makes it 2. And again, I don't know exactly how this is going to work out in the league, but this could be taking us through to the automatic knockouts as opposed to the playoffs. Let's have a look at the league table. I'd love to, but we've got a highlight. I think we were just edged up into the league table, into the automatic knockouts of the league table. But there is a goal back from Federico Di Marco. Lovely work from him. I'm just going to demand a bit more from the boys because 2-0 at half-time is great. 2-1, it's still good, but they have been all over us match momentum-wise for the majority of that half. Possession-wise, look at how awful the possession is. I'm going to say that. We need more possession. We definitely do need more possession. I'm going to tell those two they've not been great. They've not really been great, to be honest with you. Neither of the guys in the middle. I'm tempted Veloso either to take him off or turn into a deep liar. And the reason why I'm thinking deep liar is just he'll give a bit more protection to the defence. Martinez has been poor. I am going to take Martinez off. I actually don't really want to. If I was going to bring someone on, it'd be Vandenberg. But we need Trilly to get some game time because he's not been playing at all recently. So we need to kind of get someone in. And then Veloso's not been playing well. I am actually going to change Veloso to a deep line playmaker on support. I'm just thinking he'll be a bit more defensive as a deep liar. But then if we need to, we can bring Litzkas on. And Litzkas can do a fine job there. An absolutely fine job. Right, I'll leave it at that for now. We'll tell Lee... Well, just the one actually, it's Trilly. We'll tell him that we have faith in him. And let's just fire the boys up. And let's just try and get another goal to settle things down a little bit. And try and get a little bit more match momentum, a little bit more possession. Try and keep the ball a bit better. Because that first half, we were letting them have the ball quite a bit. And I do wonder that first quarter of the game where we were kind of backing off the ball when they had it and just sticking into our positions. I wonder whether that has an effect on it. Possession-wise, has it improved? It's not improved dramatically, but it has improved. We look like we've improved as well. I'm going to demand more from the boys. They're moving their midfield combination around a little bit. We've actually gone to having more shots now, which is good. Right, Hlojek has not had a great game. I'm going to bring Furic on. I'm also going to take Navarro off as well for Stoikas. And Veloso hasn't improved much either, so Litzkas is going to come on as well. And we'll just change things up a little bit with those guys. We're taking 3 good players off and bringing 3 good players on. So I'm quite happy with the depth we've got at the moment in those particular positions. Second half has definitely been better for us. As it stands, we're still missing out though. It might just be that there's not enough that we can do to get over the line. I did think it looked a little bit tight. Final change. The problem is there's not really anyone I want to take off. Bietic is probably the one, but I don't know. We're going to take Ilic off, actually, because A, fitness, and B, Miranda's got a good free kick on him. And I'm just thinking, having him taking the free kicks instead of Salvador would be a good thing. Right, we have a highlight here. Furic with a heavy touch. Furic has struggled to get into the team after an injury, actually, recently. So it says a lot about the depth we've got, that the best player for the last couple of years that we've had at the club is struggling to get back in after an injury. It does say quite a lot about how well we've done in recruiting in those wide areas, and the fact that Hlojek has now gone back to being a winger rather than a striker. Obviously he's not had a great game today, but he's been good enough that he's been keeping Furic out of the team. But this might be Furic's way back in with a few minutes here or there, especially if you get a goal. Now I don't like the fact that they're having possession here. We need to be intercepting, we need to be pressing them, and at the moment we're not doing enough. I mean, that's got to be offside, surely. That's got to be offside. Flag is up. That has got to be miles offside. I think the defence has done a great job there of managing to beat the offense, well, not beating the offensive line, creating the offensive line, and it has been disallowed. You could kind of see that a mile off. Let's watch it here. There's 3 of them offside. That's obscene. That's obscene. Right, demand more from the boys. Final few minutes. Let's just get this over the line now. We've actually dominated them in the second half, but we've all played FM. We all know how this usually ends. Right, corner, Furic. Can we get it on the head of someone? Our set pieces haven't been the best in terms of getting the ball in the back of the net recently. I'd like to see a free... Well, in terms of corners, free kicks, we've actually scored a couple recently. Salvador and... Well, mainly Salvador, actually, but Furic has done a couple as well. Furic is actually going to go for it here, and he has made it 3-1 in the 90th minute, and that is going to settle the game. And it's a huge win over a huge Champions League team. But is that going to do anything for the league stage? It's his corner that doesn't lead to anything. Litzkas actually gets the ball to him here. And Furic, I said, maybe this is the game where he gets himself back into the 11. Well, that's a great way to do it. And all of a sudden, it's 3-1. Right, as it stands, we're going to be level on points with Arsenal and Bayern Munich. And I don't know what the metric is, but if the metric is to do with wins, we didn't beat Arsenal, did we? I think, did we draw against Arsenal? I can't remember how we did against Arsenal, but I know we didn't win, so that really could be what costs us here. But as it stands, looking at that, we'll be really unlucky not to go through to the automatic knockouts. Of course, that's not necessarily final. There's other things that can happen, but it's probably going to be something like goal difference or something. But there is the 11. To be honest, even if we have to go to the playoffs qualifiers, I'm still happy with the performance there. Really happy with it. 3-1 against an Inter Milan that dominated us in the first half, and then we turned it around in the second. I think that makes me really want to start pressing again. And there is the final table. Unfortunately, we are going to miss out. It's goal difference that's going to have done it. Look at the amount of goals Arsenal and Bayern Munich have scored, whereas we've got 7, which is fine, but it's because we had... Do you know what it is? It's the Sassuolo game that's done us there. It really is. If we win that game, we're on 18 points, and we're up here, and Bayern Munich would be the team that would be missing out there. Well, we haven't managed to avoid the playoffs this time, but we have managed to kind of confirm that we're going to be going through to the next round, at least a next round of the Champions League, which is something at the very least. Right, the player I've got to show you that we've signed, Kjaergaard is back, but he did get injured straight away, so he was out for 4 weeks, he's now out for 3 weeks, hasn't played a game for us yet. He has come in on a loan. It's costing us £1 million, which is a bit more than I want it to cost. He'll be fine as a backup striker. We know he can do the job for us as a striker. He could do the job for us as an attacking midfielder, as a winger. If we change central midfield, we know he's a good Mazzala, but he is predominantly here as a wing, as an attacker as well. Apparently, he can do the pressing forward job quite well. Can't at the moment because he's injured, but it is what it is. But there you go. You see, Arno Martinez is suspended for this next game. So the thing is, do we start Trilly? Or do we maybe start Van den Berg? I'm actually thinking about potentially starting Van den Berg. Because Van den Berg is... I mean, he's actually not that much better, really. I'm not changing to an inverted fullback. So, no, we might stick with Trilly in that case. I'll have a look at the 11. I'll see what we'll do. And then we will be back for the next game against the Valencia team, who find themselves in 8th place. So, they're going to be a little bit of a challenge. It is away from home as well. But we should be good enough to beat them. Let's see whether we can. Okay, it's transfer deadline there. I'm actually bringing you back a little bit early. So the wonder kid defender that we signed in the summer on loan, Jean-Pascal Ribel, who's got 2 caps for France. I've actually signed him on a permanent. He's £22.5 million. It's £1 million above his release clause, purely because I did the thing I wasn't going to do. We've done a little bit on instalments, so I've only paid £12.5 million, which does mean we've got a little bit of money left over. Actually, a lot more than I thought, because our wages are still fine, because he's still on loan until next season. So I think this is a good one, though. I think he's going to be a superstar for us, because when he's played, he's been absolutely fine. He's not played a lot for us, but when he has come in, that's the wrong club, Deportivo La Coruña. When he has come in, again, it's not been very often. Most of them have been sub appearances. But other than one bad game against Castellon, which was weird, to be honest with you, but he's been fine. Against Cadiz, he was fine. He comes on every now and then. He does his job. He does absolutely nothing wrong. He's 6'1". He's not the quickest in the world, but he's got a decent amount of pace. He's relatively strong, decent stamina. Natural fitness is a bit of a problem, but he'll be one of 4 very good defenders, and it means we've got 4 contracted defenders for next season as a burp comes, because of course it does. So I think this is a decent transfer. It leaves us a little bit expensive as well to have a look at maybe another wonder kid if we can find one. But again, I'm not worried about signing them for now. I'm happy to have them coming in the summer. There's a bit of work to do on this guy, but he's a wonder kid. He's potentially 5-star, 4-star, 4-star. That's it. Good enough for me. Happy with that one. Okay, I'm really annoyed. I've just got to the end of beating Valencia 3-0 and realised I didn't unpause my recording. Because instead of just stopping the recording, I've just been pausing it. I've just gone through the entire game, had a lovely time, done some great commentary I've been really, really happy with. And I realised that I didn't hit the pause button. I didn't unhit the pause button, I should say, on OBS. I'm so bad at this, I really am. As a result of that, what we're going to do is we're going to come back for the Andorra game, because you only seen one game today. We're going to come back for the Andorra game, but you missed Chris Furich putting on a masterclass, so I feel really, really bad. Well, quick, I tell you what, we'll go over the goals. I'll show you what happened at the very least, and then we'll play the Andorra game on this one. So it'll be a bit of a longer episode, but it's kind of my bad. But we'll show you what happened in this game. Really impressed with the performance today, actually. Really impressed with it, which is why I'm so annoyed that I've just realised that. I've got games on this monitor. I've got a monitor here with OBS, and I just didn't click it properly. But you can see here, corner in. This is almost a carbon copy goal of the Chris Furich goal against Inter. Like, it's almost the same. It's just literally the other end of the pitch. And then we won a penalty. Now, that's obviously the penalty. But what I want to do, if at all possible, I want to show the winning of this penalty. Because, first of all, great interception there by Salvador. Really good work here. And Furich does really well here. Just getting out wide, giving some space for other players to run into. Whips it in. Watch Maria. Oh, God. I think we did one on Valencia there with that penalty. I think we did one. Match momentum-wise as well, by the way. We started off quite well, but then they really came back into it in the first half. So we went in 1-0 ahead. That was awful. And then the second half, we changed when we've lost the ball. Instead of regroup, counter press. And it really helped again like it did against Inter. So I'm pretty convinced we're going to be doing that. And then finally, substitution, Dani Boedo gets a third in the 94th minute. Litzkas has the ball here. Lovely pass through to Boedo, who cuts inside on his left foot. Lovely stuff. Mamardashvili can do nothing about it. Homegrown boy Dani Boedo does a great job. Dani Boedo, I tell you what, his potential's gone up a little bit. He was 3.5 star. He's gone back up to 4-star potential. He's down as a wonder. When did he turn into a wonder kid? He wasn't a wonder kid. We've got a wonder kid. I've only just realised that says, when has that changed to wonder kid? Media description wonder kid. He's got some magic in his feet, and I didn't realise it. When did that happen? Oh, I tell you what, I'm delighted with that. Dani Boedo, wonder kid, homegrown boy. Has he gone to 3-star in the squad? He hasn't gone to. Has he? Let's put him in. He's gone to a 3-star player after that performance. I tell you what, I'm getting slated playing him as a winger in the media, by the way. And he's down as a winger, naturally. Right, all of that to say, we're going to come back for Andorra anyway, but there's a little bit of good news. Dani Boedo, Mr. Wonder Kid himself, result. That was almost worth missing that game for. I'm so bad at making recordings on videos. Right, we'll come back for Andorra. I'll remember to hit unpause. And you watch, they'll probably beat us now just for kind of recompense for me being rubbish at recording. Well, we'll find out. Okay, we are back for the game against Andorra. By the way, Andorra are doing very well in the league that they're in, but the league that they're in is the league below us because this is a Copa del Rey quarter-final game. So you would expect us to do quite well in this one. Other news before we get to that, though. Champions League. We've got Inter bloody Milan because, of course, we have. However, with how the last game went, I'm a bit more confident about that, but it is over 2 legs, so... You know, I don't actually think... Have we got out of that yet? Obviously, first season in La Liga was this season. How did we do? We actually did get out of the playoffs in this season. Went past Freiburg. So this would be kind of the biggest challenge that we've got, to be honest with you. So it is what it is. But here we go. This is the 11 we're going to be using for the game against Andorra. It is going to be Maximiano in goal. Didn't cover himself in glory the first time that we used him, but we'll give him another chance here. Then we have Martinez, Okoli, Rebel and Miranda in defence. Litzkas and Bietic in the middle with Maria, Stoikas and Boedo supporting Salvador up front. I was tempted to start Hlajek, but I'm going to keep Salvador in for the time being. But I probably will give him a rest in this game if at all possible. But we'll start with him and see what happens. I have also changed here to counter press. We're committing to that now because I just think it is going to be the better option. So let's get into the game and let's see what happens in this extra game that I didn't intend to play while making this recording, but such is life. Let's see if we can get through and try and do better than we did last season. Of course, last season we got to the semi-final. Couldn't get past Real Madrid, sadly. Let's see whether we can get further and back to another Copa del Rey final. We, of course, won this trophy, not last season, but the season before, after getting to 2 finals in a row where we did get beat. So, fingers crossed we can get to another final and maybe try and win it again this year. That would be lovely. Especially after winning the Super Coppa as well. The Super Coppa? That's in Italy, Stu. The Coppa España. That's what I meant. But we'll see what happens. I'm not overly married to that being success or not success. Trophies are great, and I think we're at the point where we can compete for them. But really, what we're doing in this save now is building towards trying to get a league title. And I'm not going to end when we get a league title, by the way. This save is going to continue until FM25 comes out. So we're just going to see how big we can make this club. Ball into Salvador. And Salvador is just such a good player. I mean, you'd expect him to do well against Andorra, but he's gone and just hit a pile driver into the back of the net just because he can. I think it was Litzkas who got the assist as well, who gets it back to Akoli in the build-up here, who goes back to Litzkas, and Litzkas threads the eye of the needle through the players, and Salvador on the edge of the D. What a goal that is. What a wonderful goal that is. You'd expect us to go ahead relatively early on against a team who are in the league below us. It's still nice to see, though. It really is. Salvador and Litzkas working well together. I have also changed Veloso. I don't want to be on Stoica's face. I've changed Veloso, so he's now going to be a deep-lying playmaker going forward. He has played well as a roaming playmaker, but just recently he's struggled. Since his injury, really, he's been very hit and miss with it. So I've committed to it. I've changed his training regimen. He is now going to be training as a deep-line playmaker. So that experiment is over. I am toying with the idea of if Stoica's or Navarro end up leaving us at any point, Veloso, Johnny Salvador. I tell you what, it's Litzkas again with the assist. And Salvador, I didn't even see how the goal went in because I was too busy talking. Let's watch the highlight and then I'll continue with my point. So Boedo on the wing here. Goes back into Stoica's of all people. Gets into Litzkas. And Litzkas again with a lovely little pass there. What a signing Litzkas has turned out to be. We've got 2 very good playmakers. Well, we've got 3 including Navarro further forward because we are playing with 2 playmakers at the moment. The playmaking section of this team is doing a marvellous job this year. If Stoica's or Navarro were to leave, I think Veloso goes to the attacking midfield spot because he can do the job well there. But Boedo, I tell you what, now we know he's a wonder kid. He's starting to really look the part. Nicking the ball off the player there. He's running down. He's not the quickest, but he's doing really well here. Gets it into Stoica's with a simple pass. Back to Boedo. Is he going to go for goal? He did. But Litzkas is there, and Litzkas gets a very well-deserved goal himself. After those 2 assists for Salvador, Litzkas gets on the score sheet. It is 3-0 in this first half. We are dominating, and it's lovely to see. Right, Boedo does a really good job here. Simple pass into Stoica's. And I really would have loved Boedo to get a goal here. He doesn't get it, though. It's saved, but Litzkas is there for the rebound. I don't know whether that will count as an assist. Probably not. No, it doesn't. But Litzkas has now got 3 goal involvements in this game just because he can. Right, another highlight. Just on the attack again. Boedo to Miranda. Whipped in. Big looping cross. Doesn't really do anything, but he ends up with Arnau Martinez on the other side. Gets it into Maria here. Into Salvador, looking for a hatchet. Goes to Miranda, actually. Miranda going to try and get it into the box, into Boedo. And Boedo does get his goal this time. And it is 4. Oh, I'm having fun with this one. Oh, we are playing well. This is nice to see. This is very nice to see. We've been like this all save, though, really. We really have. We've built a really good, strong team. We've got some really talented players in here. We're upgrading the team all the time. And it's really nice to see us with the quality that we've got to be able to do that. But Boedo is looking... I mean, at one point I was thinking he's just going to be a good squad player. But he's turned into a wonder kid somehow. I don't know when that happened, but he did at some point. They've actually got a call here. Is that Moha? Is that our Moha who we signed, who was an awful player for us? Have I missed that he's on the pitch completely? I've got to investigate that. If you don't remember, if you've not actually watched that far back into the save, we signed him for the 2nd season when we got into La Liga 2. And my word, it's the worst signing I've ever made. It genuinely is the worst signing I've ever made. I've got to see him. Moha. No, it's a different Moha. Calm ourselves down. It's a different Moha. Because that one couldn't be playing in La Liga 2 and doing well. He just couldn't be. He was that bad. Okay. Panic station's over. It's not that Moha. If he'd have got an assist against us as well that would have been it. Oh, that would have been it. Right. Substitution o'clock. Maria's not had the best of games, ironically, considering the run he's been on. So we'll bring Furic on for some minutes. Get him a bit more game time. Stoikers can come off for Navarro. In fact, no. Do you know what? I'm going to bring Veloso on and see how he does in the last half an hour-ish of this game. I'm intrigued to see how he does. I want to get him a few minutes. We'll bring Trilly on as well for a few more minutes as the right back, and we'll leave it at that for now. But let's see how Veloso does as the attacking midfield advanced playmaker. I know he'll do a decent job. I know he can do a decent job. But it just makes the decision a bit easier of what to do in the summer, because I am thinking of maybe moving... Well, I was, and I'm kind of on the fence now. I was thinking of moving Stoikers on this year. But he's actually played just as well, if not better, than Navarro, even though Navarro was really doing well in that position. So I don't know now. I don't really want to move Navarro on because we spent a lot of money on him and he has been good. But if I have to move one of them on, the problem with Stoikers is he's flexible, so he can be a backup winger. He can also be a backup striker. Because remember when we signed him, we didn't have a decent striker. I think we signed Esposito on loan that season, but it was not looking likely, and then we got him in. So because he's got that flexibility, I also kind of wondering whether we do that or not, or whether we keep both of them, but we just kind of reframe who they are and where they play in our heads, maybe. I don't know. Litzkas has done really well there, but it's just wide. Because Navarro can go out wide. So can Stoikers, to be honest. Both of them can go out wide. So I don't really know what to do, but I am thinking maybe getting Veloso a bit further forward is for the benefit of the team and the benefit for him as well. I don't know. I'm not fully decided on what I want to do with that, but I'm thinking about it. But the problem is now I have to put Veloso back into the midfield because I want to take off Litzkas, who's had a great game. We are going to take him off and we'll bring Navarro on. No, we will bring Navarro on. Let's get him a few minutes. And we'll see the game out with that as the 11. Bring on Cannon Navarro. Veloso will go back into the middle, but he's going back into the middle as a playmaker. So we'll see how he does for the last few minutes in that role. Again, got no doubts he can do the job there. It's just he hasn't had the impact as a roaming play. I mean, I've not really used the roaming playmaker a lot, and I think there's a potential work. I mean, he's gone up to a 7 straight away in there, so maybe that's the right thing to do. But that's a good performance. All of the goals in the first half. We kind of did all the work then. We probably took our foot off the gas in the second half. That's fine because we didn't really let them... Sorry, computer and game had a bit of a wobble then. I don't really mind us taking our foot off the gas there because in all seriousness, the game was kind of done. So that's absolutely fine. But that does get us through. That wasn't the quarter-final. Why did I call that the quarter-final? It's because we've had the draw for the quarter-final already. We're playing Sociedad. I already know who we're playing because that draw had already happened. So there is the quarter-final. That wasn't the quarter-final we've just played in. But Litzkas, I tell you what, 2 assists and a goal. I think that's another reason we need to get Veloso into the team maybe further forward because Litzkas is good. It's gone to 4 stars. Veloso was going to be the future of this club. He still can be, but my word, he's going to have to probably do it there, isn't he? He's going to have to. He's going to have to. Which means we need to do something about this position because at the moment we don't have anyone else to play there. Well, we do, but they're not naturals there in terms of their ability. We're going to have a real think about what we do here. Although Stoikers has got decent defending ability. It's just his positioning's not the best. I think next season it is going to be a fact that Veloso is going to be playing there. I think that is going to be it. We're going to just go with that. And then we've got the Portuguese connection kind of with the front forwards. And then we just need to bring in someone as a backup for Litzkas. I think I've kind of almost framed my mind that that is exactly what we're doing next season. Because it just makes sense with... like star ratings. It doesn't make sense to have Litzkas drop out of the team because he is growing as well. Yeah, he needs to be in the 11. He really does. I think he's going to force Veloso out of the team. I mean, if we go with this now, we've got too many players for the attacking midfield, but it means Veloso can drop down into here as and when required. But I think that is going to be the forward line that we have going forward. Funnily enough, the next game that we have is against Sociedad. It is actually the quarter-final of the Copa del Rey. We will not be back for that. We will be back, however, for the Inter Milan game as well as Racing Santander. We'll give it a couple of games just so we can have a bit of a break. Then we'll come back for those and we'll see how we do. That feels like the plan. I don't know why it's the plan, but it is the plan. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's weird haphazard video where I've made nothing but errors, don't forget to leave a big like on the video for me. And don't forget to subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so. And you put a big smile on this face right here. I've been Stu. You guys have been awesome. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.